Title: My Sister and R Word. This happened far too long ago, but I saw something about a sister and remembered this. My middle sister was a pain in the ass. She used try to beat me up and make me angry so she could blame her actions on me. This was the mid-70s, Jesus. And the R word was common usage. I never did like it though. MS loved it and used it every chance she got. It was her go-to for scorn and insults. Side note, she wasn't that bright. Once, when she had to go someplace new, she was afraid she'd get lost. We assured her that if she got lost, we would call her. She felt better about it. So after a month or 3 of the R word, my oldest sister and I got fed up. We sat down with a bunch of paper and started making signs. Like 30 of them. Then we placed them all over the house. They were along the lines of take an R word to lunch, have you hugged your R word today? R words are people too. We placed them everywhere we could think. Under the toilet seat, inside the medicine chest, in her clothes drawer, on the ceiling above her bed, under her pillow. We looked places that would take a few days to find. We always knew she'd found one because she let out the most lovely howl of "moom" after each one. Talking to my mom a long time after, she said she felt so torn as to how to handle it. Title: Talk to me like rubbish? Wait extra time for your mayo chicken, this revenge is so petty. Throw back a decade, I was in 6th form, 16 to 18 years for my American friends, and working at McDonald's and weekends for extra cash. At 10:30 a.m. we changed from breakfast menu to main menu, and there was typically a few minutes of blind panic where there was a slightly longer wait for food. 10:20 a.m. in comes this meathead who still looks half pissed up from the previous night and orders 3 mayo chickens. I inform him we will only be able to start cooking them at 10:30 as fryers are in use for breakfast items for another 10 minutes. He says okay, pays his £2.97 and wait at a table. Worth saying at this point it's a heaving Saturday morning, the first one after payday. Not even 5 minutes later he comes up to me and says, shouts in a thick Scouse accent, "Oi. What you doing giving him his food before mine? I've been waiting here way longer." I inform him that customer had ordered off the breakfast menu, which we had ready to hand out. He looks pissed off, but nods at me. 10:30 on the dot, when I told him the chicken would be put down, he barges past other customers in the queue and gets up in my face almost shouting, "Now, where the fuck are my mayo chickens? You're taking the fucking piss now." I tell him his food is being cooked, to stop swearing at me and that it'll be literally 2 minutes. He continues, "This isn't fucking good enough. No wonder you work at McFucking-Donald's when you can't even cook a chicken burger." This sentence in Scouse was hilarious. I tell him to stop shouting and wait in line or I'll cancel his order and refuse service. He just says, "Fuck sake," and audibly mutters, "cunt," under his breath. At this point I see 3 mayo chickens come sliding down the chute. And I just leave them. I left them there for an extra 5 to 6 minutes till I knew they'd go a bit more lukewarm while I started serving another customer. Title: So you're sick, huh? Mobile post. Many years ago I worked as a chef. Hours were long and crap. I worked at one fine dining place for a while and got on with almost everyone except one person who was on starters with me. He was new and young and he got a lot of leeway, which I get, but he constantly dropped me in the S by being slow or making mistakes. He also never shut up about the TV he had watched last night, instead of concentrating. Towards the end of my time there he called in sick on a busy Sunday and I had the worst service of my life. I had already handed in my notice. I went around all of the other chefs in my last few weeks and had a quiet word, told them I was leaving but didn't want a fuss. I told everyone except him. A few weeks after my last day he asked, "Where is Pleekhouse? Not seen him in a while." My friend who was still there said, "Oh. Didn't you know? He got hit by a bus." And produced a condolences card for my parents for him to sign. A few days after that, I turn up to the staff accommodation to get the last of my stuff. I wait in my car and read a book until after evening service. Title: My backpack's there, so it is my bench. Due to COVID, students in my school have to eat outside for lunch. We used to not be allowed to, and due to the ridiculously small amount of benches, you need to save a spot if you want to not sit on the ground. I have a very nice bench that I put my backpack on and then went to get my lunch. When I came back, a senior couple had moved my damn backpack and were sitting on the bench together. I have had problems with these two before, but they've never just moved my backpack. It seems like we've both laid claim to that bench, so if I've gotten my lunch and saw that they were already sitting there, I would just walk off and sit in the grass. But today I honestly wasn't in the mood, and they had moved my backpack after I put it there. I knew this bench well, so I knew it was about 5 feet long. And this senior couple, who were from different households, were sitting right next to each other without masks on. You know, breaking common COVID rules. So I told the lunch monitor. Title: Accidental Petty Revenge. This happened close to 10 years ago at my first job at Subway. It was a slow Saturday afternoon. I was doing dishes and my manager was writing off burnt cookies. Now, this manager and I like to pull pranks on each other. I have plenty more to share. However, in this story, he took one of the written off cookies and threw it at me, make it explode upon impact with my shoulder. I told him, in a mock demanding tone, that he was cleaning it up, and surprisingly he listened. He bent down to clean the cookie bits, and at the same time I had the sudden urge to fart. I tried to walk away, but not even a couple steps in I let it rip right next to his head. Title: My 19 meters sisters 17F x 18 meters gotten his revenge for abusing my sister. If you have a sensitive stomach, please do not read any further. This happened over 10 years ago. My sister was dating an extreme verbally abusive ex. They literally argue every time they are together. One day, he was kicked out of his house by his parents, so he was kind of homeless, and I found traces of him sleeping in my sister's room, entering late at night. My mother was of course mad but didn't want my sister to run away with him, so she kind of kept it cool, but I couldn't let it slide. One day, I came home from football practice, so I was quite sweaty and smelly. When I was doing laundry, he had his clothes in there already, washed, cleaned and dried. I did not hesitate and just took his clothes and rubbed it all over my groin and everywhere else where the sun doesn't shine. I even forced myself to pass gas at parts of his shirts that are closest to his face, like the collar, shoulder area. I will say, it definitely did not have the fresh laundry smell anymore, and it was great. I threw his clothes back in the machine. Title: Food FIIIIIGHT. So this isn't my story but someone else's. So my brother is working at a Wendy's and they are apparently a little short-staffed. The manager apparently has a little bit of an attitude. It was pretty late at night and they were getting slammed with tons of people wanting food and not enough people to fill those orders. There was some Karen there who just could not believe that she had to wait 5 entire minutes for her burgers and fries, or whatever she ordered. So when the Karen got up to the window, she started to whine about the wait, so the manager said something, I don't remember, but the Karen straight up threw a drink at the manager. So the manager retaliates by taking a pink lemonade with the lid not very secure and tossed it into the Karen's car. The sticky lemonade got all over the car and a bit of it splashed on that Karen's poor kid.